a child is more likely to be less biased towards the situation. They're usually more open-hearted to all kinds of people, no matter their shape, size, social status, and/or race. In this case, Scout was very open towards Tom Robinson, even though he was black. She didn't care what he looked like. She thought he should be treated fairly and people should listen to him. Whereas many adults may say that they are fair and treat people equally, really they are known to be more judgmental towards people and lean towards ones they like, whether it's right or not. If Lee had not chosen Scout as the narrator, the book would be biased to race and critical towards people who are outcasts. Having a child narrate makes the story a bit lighthearted. Also, from the reader's perspective, we wouldn't see the stages of the child's life where they learn about the good and the bad.
From Miss Dubow's Gem and Scout learned to be courageous, because no matter what Miss Dubow's was going through, even though she had an addiction, she had many problems, many health problems, she still lived her life and didn't let her problems affect her, and she tried not to let it affect her life and how other people perceived her, and so I think that that's really important in the story.
I think throughout the novel, Gem and Scout have changed a lot. For example, they've both become more mature and they both had a loss of innocence because they've been exposed to see an innocent man being taken away and having to have a trial and being killed, which is very similar to Night by Elie Wiesel, where Ellie also saw innocent men or innocent people and innocent children being taken and killed for no reason, and I think that changed all three of these characters a lot by making them more mature.
It endures because it teaches kids important lessons about discrimination, racism, and growing up, which are all things that teenagers can connect with. And this book helps us grow and become more understanding of society, which is very important for our generation.
It shows that the upper class folks don't like the Cunninghams. The Cunninghams don't like the Ewells, and the Ewells hate the colored folks. Through the hate circulating in Macomb County, we can infer that these people do not like one another based on their race and/or social class. The elite folks don't hang out with the Cunninghams because they were poor and didn't relate to them because they didn't have a lot of money and they spent their days working in the fields. Atticus appreciated everyone for who they were, not what they looked like and how rich they were. He was very accepting. The Cunninghams hated the Ewells because they were definition of white trash and had less money than they. They also made the lower class look bad because of their laziness, disrespect, and lying. Lastly, the Ewells despised the blacks because they were different because of the color of their skin. The Ewells were rude and obnoxious to the blacks and didn't want to have to do with any of them.
So I think some people participate in being prejudiced because of how they grew up or who they grew up around, and how their peers react to being around colored people and so on. Like if you grow up in an environment that's very negative towards that, you will develop that hatred, if that makes sense.
Atticus Finch was one of the greatest characters because of what he did with the Tom Robinson trial. Helping and defending the trial put him and his family at possible danger and at risk. Even though everyone believed that Tom Robinson was guilty and should be punished for something that he supposedly done, Atticus was true to his heart and believed that Tom Robinson didn't do what he was accused of and decided to help him out. Atticus is known as a role model for sticking to his integrity and beliefs.
Mockingbird portrays Atticus as a man who tries to change the way people look and feel towards different races. In this case, black people. Atticus puts a lot of work and hardship into his cases, and in this one, he was trying to show the truth and only the truth, and trying to get people to not convict him just because of his color. Yet he knew that the voice of a white man, even if he is obviously guilty, always wins against the voice of a black man. Atticus explained all the reasons it was Bobby Will to blame and not Tom Robinson for the attack of Mayella. Atticus tried his hardest to shoot down the racist burial by using the sick, diseased dog portraying racism in the South. Atticus was chosen to shoot down the dog, just like he was chosen to shoot down racism. He explained how Mayella was hesitant to answer some questions regarding her father, and Tom had a bad arm, Bobby Will was left-handed, and that Tom was a respectful man to be listened to regardless of his color. Though Atticus did his very best, and he did not completely change the way others looked at one another, he did get close. In fact, the jury took longer than usual to decide who was guilty, and Mr. Cunningham sided with Tom Robinson.
I think Gem and Scout have learned to not judge someone on what other people are thinking or what other people are saying, because they both saw that Boo Radley, even though other people were saying things about him that weren't necessarily true, they learned that he was a good person and that he saved their lives and he wasn't like everyone else said that he was.
Harper Lee's theme of social injustice is still relevant because even though it's not practiced like it used to, it still happens even if we don't realize it. And the book shows how society used to be when it comes to racism, and by learning about it, we can know how to avoid it by treating people equally, and we can achieve it by being open to other races and being respectful of them.
I think other people stand up against being prejudiced because of the environment that they grew up in, and that it's okay to treat people equally despite what they look like. And I think that some people grow up in an environment where equality is, I don't know, important per se, and
Nobody liked Tom Robinson's answer because they didn't believe him. They don't believe or understand why a poor black man should be sorry for a white female. In that time, it would not only offend but make the white people be mad that someone feels sorry for them. Also that why he should feel sorry for someone and their race treating him and his race badly.
Lastly, I think that from Lula, Gem and Scout, I don't know, they kind of learned more about equality because seeing how Lula was very judgmental and didn't want them there, it kind of gave them an outlook on the real issues on people being prejudiced, because Lula wasn't accepting of Gem and Scout just because they were white and they felt like they didn't belong, and so
Really zoomed in.
Okay, ready, Emily? Are you dead? Oh. I thought that I was dreaming when you said you love me. Yeah.
Jordan!
You didn't see a story? It's a big cactus, boy.
That's not a cactus, that's a succulent.
Okay, let's go.
You're a succulent.
And we are going.